Rickey Morning Show. Hey, listen, it is Talk It Out Tuesday with licensed professional counselor Yunetta Spring. Hey, good morning, Yunetta.
Hey, good morning, Rickey. Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing today?
Man, we doing good. Happy to have you this morning. A lot going on. And, first of all, thank you for coming on the show talking about mental health, because we need to take it serious, because we need all the help we can get. Now, we are 1 week away from Election Day. Some people are really nervous about how this could go to the point where they are having election anxiety. And I'm sure you got some tips on helping people how to deal with November the 3rd and what happens after that from a mental health perspective.
You know, elections kind of bring up anxiety just generally, but the way that 2020 has showed up, and showed out is normal to think, to be thinking like, what else could possibly go wrong, And that's basically what anxiety is. It's just that excessive nervousness, apprehension, fear of what the future could look like. So I'm going to share some statistics with you. The American Psychological Association conducted a Stress in America survey, and they found that about 56% of the respondents identified that the 2020 election was a significant stressor. And that was at the top of the year. So at the middle of June, like around June, the Center for Disease Control reported that the highest amount of anxiety was among young adults, Black, Latinos, just people, people of all ages in that demographic, So the prevalence of anxiety symptoms among everybody across the board is 3 times higher than it was last year. So I just thought it was important to share that, because that is a big deal, That's a huge deal. So, occasional anxiety is fine, but that's normal, right? But if you have prolonged anxiety, that can result in mental illness, as well as it can manifest into physical illness, So a few ways that, I want to share with you guys to like how to deal with the election anxiety is to, number one, vote early, right? Putting things off and procrastinating in general is going to increase your anxiety, because you don't know what next week is going to look like. So if you can, vote early, okay? The next one is to take the day off. Like, if you can, everybody doesn't have that option, but if you could take the day off after the day of, take it off just as a precaution. The next one is to refrain from engaging in heavy political conversations, right? For me, as a rule, I check in with myself. If I don't have the capacity or the energy to engage or go back, I don't, and that's okay for you to do that as well. It's important to have these conversations. You just may not need to have it right now, and you get to choose when you engage in those types of conversations. The next one is just to check in, right? Check in and notice what's happening in your body. Are your muscles tense? Is your body tight? If you are, then more than likely you're stressed, and that's the stress manifesting in your body. So just intentionally pausing and relaxing and releasing the muscles in your body can be helpful. And asking yourself, I think a lot of us come into this space where we feel like we could be doing more, so just asking yourself, are you doing the best you can right now? And if you can't, if you are, just accepting that that's enough. And then if not, then asking yourself, like, how can I do more? Like, what else could I do? Taking somebody to the polls, encouraging somebody to vote, posting a selfie of yourself after you vote. Those things make a difference, so being able to do that. And then deleting and unfollowing negative rhetoric. You don't have to consume what everybody offers. If it's insensitive, if it's racist, you have the freedom to delete and unfollow, or just disengaging from the media altogether around this time. Ultimately, this is the last one, is just supporting each other. And this can be done through your family, your friends. You can schedule a Zoom meeting just to check in with each other. Dr. Joy Harden Bradford, the founder of Therapy for Black Girls, she's holding a self-care suite, for her community during Election Day, so everybody can just check in with each other. Because a big part of managing anxiety is being able to accept the thing that you fear rather than just avoiding it. And the problems that we've encountered this year alone, they won't magically go away after the election, but our vote can determine if we are moving towards a solution rather than further away from it. That's what I have, those 7 tips, just to kind of alleviate and relieve some of this anxiety that we are all feeling, around election.
Everybody's having anxiety. Is anybody, Maria, Brett, y'all having any type of anxiety about the election?
Well, I always have anxiety. Okay, and when people come in my comments with negativity, I immediately delete the comment and make sure I block them, or make sure if I'm following them, I unfollow them, because besides the election, we have life in general and all this stuff going on in the world. So why add more negativity to your life that you don't need? It's hard enough dealing with the hands that we were dealt. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. I have a question for you. When we think in terms of the election and future leadership, we know can impact our lives, but it doesn't have to dictate our lives. What are some things we can do to boost our self-confidence and pay attention, give more focus to the things that we can control?
Really looking at how far we've come. Because I think sometimes we focus on how far we have to go, but just really looking at, the people that came before us and how they fought and how they stood in lines and how much they did to get us to this point, and just remaining hopeful and just being able to reflect on that.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Thank you for all that wonderful information. Let everybody know how they can reach you in case they have any questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions or, you want to follow me on social media, you can follow Springforth Counseling. You can also check out my YouTube page, Yunetta Spring. And if you want to subscribe to my mailing list, you can text the word SPRING to 55444.
All right, Yunetta, thank you so much. That was one of the most informative, especially with this coming up, because I promise you, I have butterflies in my stomach every day, and I cannot stop watching the news and the polls and all that stuff. That was so helpful, insightful, and important. Thank you so much, Counselor.
No problem at all. And you guys are in there, so take a break, step away from it as often as you can.
Okay, I'm going to turn it back on to my 600-pound life and start with it.
Turn off the news, Ricky. Turn off the news.
That's right, because Counselor Spring, at least I can get some good recipes off of that. Did y'all see that was when she put them potato tots on top of that stuff with that little white gravy on? We'll talk about it. I'm sorry, Counselor Spring. I'm having an ADHD moment. Maybe I need an Adderall. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Rickey, Smiley morning.